18-year-old Lauren left work and never returned home. Her body was soon found in a swamp. She had been brutally murdered. But what could have happened to Lauren? Lauren Astley Dunn was born on April 1st, 1993, in Boston, Massachusetts. She was an only child, and her parents adored her. Both her parents were school teachers. Their family later moved to the small town of Wayland, Massachusetts, with a population of about 10,000. It was ideal for a quiet family life. They were active church members and attended church every weekend. In 2006, when Lauren was 13, her parents divorced. They remained on good terms for the sake of their daughter. Lauren enjoyed tennis and music. She was captain of the tennis team and sang in the church choir. She was very artistic, and at age 12, she performed the lead role in the school musical. During her senior year of high school, she worked as a camp counselor during the summers and as a salesperson in a clothing store the rest of the year to ensure her independence and support herself. Lauren was a kind, positive, active, and caring woman. She volunteered in the recovery efforts in New Orleans after the devastation of Hurricane Katrina. Lauren graduated from Wayland High School in 2011 and attended Elon University in North Carolina to study fashion design. She planned to go there, but those plans never came to fruition. At 14, she began dating a boy from school, 15-year-old Nathaniel Fujita. It was their first relationship. Nathaniel was a quiet, calm boy who was seriously involved in American football and was the star of his school team. He was of Japanese descent and came from a respected family. His father was a university professor and played the guitar. Nathaniel and Lauren were the perfect couple, looking so young and happy that many at school envied them. Lauren supported her boyfriend and went to football matches, as well as to see Nathaniel's band perform. And Nathaniel always supported Lauren in all her interests. Their families were close and approved of their relationship. But over time, the couple's relationship began to deteriorate. After 3 years, the young couple began arguing frequently. Nathaniel was possessive and controlled Lauren's every move. One day at a party, another guy started flirting with her, and Nathaniel attacked him and brutally beat him. All her friends were shocked and advised Lauren to leave Nathan. Lauren also thought about breaking up with him, but she was afraid to leave him. She thought she'd finish school and go to university. Then their paths would diverge, and the problem would resolve itself. Thanks to her athletic success, Nathaniel had already been accepted to the University of Connecticut, and they would be far apart. By the summer of 2011, Lauren began packing. She was so focused on the move that she distanced herself from Nate and neglected him. Nathan was angry with her. His mother noticed her son's strange behavior and began taking him to a psychiatrist. During sessions, he reported his mood to be a 1 out of 10. A psychiatrist prescribed him medication for depression, but Nathaniel refused to take it. Instead, he began to think even more about Lauren, who was ignoring him. Nathan stopped leaving the house, spending all day in his room, drinking beer, smoking drugs, and thinking about her. His behavior became increasingly alarming. Nathaniel emailed her asking to get back together, but she didn't respond. They met at graduation in June 2011. Nathaniel followed Lauren everywhere. She felt uncomfortable and asked him to leave her alone. He lost his temper, punched the wall, and then left. But a month later, the situation escalated. On July 3, 2011, Lauren was at work at a clothing store in a shopping mall. That afternoon, she met her friend Ariel in the food court, and they agreed that Lauren would stop by her friend's house after work, change, and go to her friend's for the night. The workday ended around 7 p.m., and Lauren went home. But she never made it. At 8 p.m., her mother began to worry about Lauren's whereabouts. She was usually home by this time. The woman started calling her, but she didn't answer. Then her mother started calling her friends, but they didn't know where Lauren was either. Ariel's friend said they had arranged to meet, but now Lauren wasn't answering her calls. Lauren hadn't told her she was planning to meet someone or go somewhere else after work. Alarmed, her mother called her father and told him Lauren was missing. The father rushed home and they went outside to look for their daughter, but they couldn't find her and returned home to report Lauren's disappearance to the police. Lauren's friend also became concerned and called Nathaniel, but he didn't answer. Later, she called Nathan's home phone, and his mother answered. The woman called her son to the phone. When asked if he knew where Lauren was, Nathaniel replied that this was the last place Lauren would be. He hadn't seen her in a while and didn't know where she was. Then he said he had no time, was watching a movie, and hung up. The police immediately took up the case and came to the mother's home. The concerned mother reported that Lauren's boyfriend had been acting erratically and aggressively lately. She feared he might harm her. Detectives went to the boyfriend's home. Nate was home with his family. He claimed he didn't know where Lauren was. The search for her began. Lauren's friends and family searched for her all night. They drove around the city looking for Lauren and found her car on the riverbank. They reported it to the police. The police parents arrived there and focused their search for Lauren there. Investigators went to the mall, which was already closed, and no one was there except security guards. Police officers requested CCTV footage and began reviewing it. It turned out that Lauren arrived at work at the store at 9:45 a.m. and left at 6:45 p.m. Lauren was seen talking on the phone. Later, Lauren's call log revealed that she had spoken to Nathaniel, and at 7:05 p.m., she sent her last text message to Nathan. It contained only one word: "Here." That morning, just after dawn, Lauren's body was discovered by a cyclist in a swamp near the road. The location was approximately 10 kilometers from Lauren's car. The cyclist reported the incident to the police. Officers arrived immediately. The girl had been strangled and her throat had been slit. A cord was tangled in her hair and a bloody towel lay on the shore. Her father identified Lauren. In the morning, the police came to Nathaniel's house again. His father opened the door. He explained that their family had dined at a restaurant the previous day, and that around 6 p.m., Nathan had left them and gone to the mall on some important business. According to his father, Nathaniel was not in the house at the time. Nathan was the prime suspect, so investigators obtained a search warrant for his home. Nathan wasn't there, but the detectives found important evidence there. They found blood stains in the garage. Blood was also found on Nate's car, both on the outside and on the floor mats. In the basement, they found the same bungee cord used to strangle Lauren, along with a black duffel bag. Inside the bag were soaking wet and dirty sneakers, also stained with blood. They found Nathaniel's bloody clothes in a garbage bag in the attic. All evidence was sent to the lab. DNA testing later showed the blood belonged to Lauren. Lauren's autopsy was performed on July 5, 2011. The cause of death was strangulation with a cord and blood loss from a slit throat. Pathologist Anatom was certain that Lauren was still alive when the cord was around her neck and her throat was slit. Neither the jugular nor the carotid arteries were severed. Lauren didn't die instantly, but rather bled slowly and painfully while being strangled. The girl's body also bore blunt force trauma to the head and numerous bruises on her face, arms, legs, and torso. It turned out that Nathan's mother had visited Lauren at work in mid-June, a couple of weeks before the tragedy, asking her to visit her son because he was depressed, and Lauren agreed to visit him sometime. It's possible that Lauren called him that day, July 3rd, to support him. Nathaniel was declared missing. On July 5th, he was apprehended. Police traced him to his cousin's house in a neighboring town. He was arrested. His face and body were covered in numerous fresh scratches that resembled defensive wounds. He insisted he had nothing to do with Lauren's murder. Nathan said he had spoken to Lauren on the phone that evening, and she had come to see him. She came in for literally 5 minutes and left. He never saw her again. But Nathaniel couldn't explain how her blood ended up on his clothes, in his house, and in his car. Nate was charged with first-degree murder. His trial did not begin until a year and a half later, in February 2013. Nathaniel continued to maintain his innocence. According to the prosecution, Lauren called him that evening to support him at his mother's request. He asked her to come over, and she agreed. The defendant asked for time off from dinner and went to the mall to buy some cord and a knife. He prepared for the murder. The girl came to him and sent a message here, unaware that she had fallen into a trap. Nathaniel was home alone. The guy tried to win his girlfriend back, but she refused. In a fit of rage, he attacked her and brutally murdered her in the garage. Nathan first got rid of her car. The man left her by the riverbank in what he thought was an inconspicuous spot. He then returned home, put Lauren's body in his Honda, and drove it to the swamp. There, he covered his clothes and shoes in mud. At home, Nate hid his clothes in the attic and cleaned up a bit before his parents returned. At trial, the prosecutor presented all the evidence containing the victim's blood found in Nathan's house and at the crime scene. A scan of Nate's computer revealed that he had searched for blood purification methods on the evening of the girl's disappearance. A witness testified at trial that he saw Nathan driving Lauren's car that evening. He was shirtless and looked very frightening. Nathan's lawyer claimed the defendant suffered from mental illness as well as a head injury sustained while playing football, and killed the girl during a psychotic episode, unaware of what he was doing. Nathaniel's relatives confirmed that their family has a history of paranoia, schizophrenia, and bipolar disorder, and it's possible Nathan may have inherited these conditions. However, a psychiatric evaluation conducted by several psychiatrists revealed that, despite his depression, Nathaniel was quite sane. Lauren's parents testified in court that they always considered Nathaniel a good boy. But only now, looking back, do they realize there were warning signs in his behavior that they hadn't taken seriously. Nate was too quiet and uncommunicative. Unlike their daughter, her friends disliked him and opposed their breakup. And recently, he'd been stalking Lauren. Nathaniel's parents said they didn't expect this from their son. They feared Nate might harm himself and commit suicide due to the traumatic breakup with Lauren. They took him to a psychiatrist and asked Lauren for support, but they never imagined their son was capable of murder. On March 7, 2013, a jury found Nathaniel guilty of first-degree murder and sentenced him to life in prison without parole. Lauren's parents were pleased with the verdict. After the verdict was announced, Lauren's father approached Nathan's parents and hugged them in support. As he later explained, this grief and the lawsuit were a true test for both families and brought them much pain and suffering, which is why he wanted to support them. According to statistics, 1 in 3 American teenagers experiences stalking in a relationship after a breakup, but most of them hide it. Lauren's parents established a memorial fund in their daughter's honor and are involved in educational activities. The foundation works with students in schools. They teach them how to emotionally cope with a breakup without resorting to violence. The goal is to teach teenagers to accept it and move on. Thank you all for your activity, for your likes, comments, and subscriptions.